I'd love for you to speak on that. What role does that emotional awareness? Because you spoke about, okay, am I coming from greed? Am I coming from fear? It sounds like this is work that needs to be done to have a better barometer to help you make those decisions. Are there tools you suggest to nurture that?
Yeah, so I always check myself. Am I doing this for me? Am I doing this for other people? So I always check the arrow. Is it going for me or going for other people? So if I'm just doing for other people, I do better. And if I'm trying to do it for me, usually not good. So that doesn't mean that I work for somebody for nothing and then I don't get paid. So that's not what I'm saying. But my intention is, am I working for other people? And if I just make some people smile, as a result, the happy money comes in. But if I'm trying to do something just only for me, usually that thing doesn't just stick for a long time. So I try to make sure uh, which way the arrow goes.
Hmm. I As you say that, I'm thinking of one of my primary clients. And I remember the intention that I came in was just really, really wanting to help them and helping them even in the sense that I had that as an initial prime. I was like, oh my God, I just want to get in there and help them, but they weren't my client yet. And that fuel of wanting to help them is what made me tell them, I need you to pay me thousands of dollars so I can come inside your business and have a look. And it was almost like the most powerful closing technique I've ever used was because I cared so much, I needed to take their money. And I say that deliberately because a lot of us have that fear of like, oh my God, taking money, I don't feel too comfortable. But when I was so anchored with the fact that I know if I just go in there and have a look and start seeing at what's going on, I felt like I had this calling to make sure a transaction happened. And I took the money and I had policies in place to offer, a guarantee of deliverability. Even like I was very comfortable saying like, if this doesn't transform things, you'll get your money back. And I was comfortable making those statements because I just wanted to get in there and help. And there was like this reciprocity or vibration to that energy that just made them go, ah, okay, here's the money, please come in. And I was able to do such a great work there. And I find what you're saying right now is like a reinforcement of investigating all the times that I've had great success has come from that arrow pointing out.
Yeah.
And the reason I share this story is to reinforce the point that it doesn't mean working for free, is just coming in with that objective that it's, I'm going to help someone else, so I need to aggressively collect the money because that's what opens the doors. And I'm hoping that this is a habit, especially for those who struggle in sales, can actually get that check in and understand that if you just switch that arrow, it makes everything else flow much easier. Ken, I love how you blend so much of these practices that are more anchored on the spiritual side that actually leave towards having results in the tangible, like the financial reward. We've talked about this even on the previous conversations where some of the key relationships we should nurture are what are going to create a lot of your wealth. It's not the tangible assets, it's intangible assets. And I find that now more than ever, it seems to be reinforcing that that's what we need to invest on. Would you have some additional information for anybody who's trying to find themselves outside the woods on what they can do to foster better relationships that can support them in the transition?
So whatever you do, there's always something that you can do for other people by using your gifts. If you're good at listening, you can be a nice counselor, and if you're good at talking, you can be a coach. Oh, by the way, there are two kinds of salespeople. One listener, the other speaker. You can become a top sales either by listening or either by speaking. So whatever the gift you have, you can both be very successful. So, figuring out what you're good at. If you're good at cooking, you should cook more. If you're good at writing, you should do that more. So, focus on your gifts and focus on your strength. And then, if you can help somebody with your gifts, they appreciate you. And maybe at the beginning, they just only say, "Oh, thank you. Thank you, Ken. You did a great job." And then you get nothing. But sometimes they take you out for lunch and dinner, and then they start paying you. So just you have to just go through the time that you're not getting paid. But if you give more, then they just feel like, okay, maybe not dinner is not enough. They stop paying you. So maybe first few years could be tough, but after you're better at what you do, and then they start paying you. So I used to be a speaker and in my 20s, and people loved my speech, my presentations, but they didn't pay me. They just thanked me. And then after a couple of years, they said, "Oh, no, your speech is so good. At least I have to do something. Can I pay you?" And then they started paying me. So you have to pour more unless it overflows. So if you're not getting paid, don't complain about it. Instead, you should be thinking, what can I do more to convince them that they want to pay you?
You mentioned something right there that I hadn't heard before, but at first it seems like the thanks were coming before the money. Would measuring the thanks you get from the activities you do a good indicator that you're on your way to getting actual financial transactions from your activities?
Yeah, so I always tell my clients, collect your thank you in your life. So just say small thank you, middle thank you, big thank you. And so if you have enough in a jar, then you're getting paid. But unless somebody appreciates you so much, you don't get paid. So the reason why I'm successful in books and others is that I have helped so many people in such a depth that they feel like I saved their life. I just a few words, nothing for me, but for them it means a lot. So they feel like I said they feel like I saved their lives, or at least they changed their lives in such a deep way. So for me, it's a piece of cake. I do it every day for like almost 25 years, and then for them, it's a big thing. They remember for the rest of their life. So that's why they buy my books, or they come to my seminars, or whatever the thing that they wanted to do. But the energy going out will come back. So the more impact you do for other people, you receive more. So, but the funny, interesting thing is, like in my time, 85% of my time, I don't get paid. I do interviews, I do pro bono, I do a lot of things for free. I don't really care if I get paid from the person in front of me or not. As a result, I just give massive amount of love, hope, and I help people transform their relationship with the money. And so, as a result, I get paid so handsomely. So don't get attached to who pays you, because you'll be paid according to the quality and the quantity that you serve for other people.
Ken, I find this is one of the most fun spiritual ways of measuring brand equity is how much thanks you have in your jar is really what kind of becomes that source of being able to have goodwill and to monetize in the future as well. And I think that's a
Yeah.
very, very important thing for people to focus on, especially if you want to find yourself in a place where you're above AI, as we spoke about at the beginning. Thank you so much for listening to the Selling with Love podcast. We have some previous episodes you can tune into right here. And if you prefer the short form content where you get to the point in under 10 minutes, we do have a ton of clips from our best episodes that are being shared on this channel as well. So pick which one supports you the most. And of course, thank you for liking, subscribing, and of course, selling with love.